going to try to spot that, and it looks like he actually was able to scan and just take that observer out. Oh, but meanwhile, it looks like those stalkers see that and try to move in. Unfortunately, they have to back out because there are 2 siege tanks in the midst of these Marines with this bunker to defend that entrance, so he was not able to break that entrance. But it looks like WhiteRa has actually gone for a hidden expansion up at the 12 o'clock position, so he's going to have a slight economic advantage here if he can hold on to that without Cloud finding out about it. So we'll see exactly how long he's able to hold on to that as a secret. But Cloud just continuing to throw down supply depots so he can keep his production up, and it looks like he is going to be moving out strictly Marines and tanks in his army right now. So this is a pretty basic unit combination, but it may be plenty to take on this army, as we do not see a whole lot of versatility from the Protoss player WhiteRa right now. Although it looks like he is going to try to take down, oh no, just barely managing to take out that turret and get in there. So he is going to get his stalkers in his base, sniping another reactor possibly here. Yeah, he is going to get this reactor and possibly even another turret. So he is doing a decent amount of damage here, sniping a few Marines as well. WhiteRa just managing to do a pretty good amount of damage with a very small amount of units here, and it looks like he's even going to take a few hits on the... Oh no, and the tank's getting into place here as well to play defensively, so he is not going to be able to blink down off of that. Although, meanwhile, there are some Zealots and High Templars moving in here, going to try to take out these tanks possibly, and the Stalkers just running circles around this army right now, trying to get out of there alive, but it looks like a lot of them are going to go down right now. 2 of them just barely managing to blink out of that base before they get taken out. But there are still a lot of Terran units right now, as I mentioned, still just Marines and tanks right now, but there are a lot of them, and WhiteRa was going to need to use the full effect of his Psystorm in order to take on this army, because there are just so many units here, and of course tanks just shell tremendously well against Stalkers and Zealots. Of course, if WhiteRa can get that Zealot speed upgrade, the Zealot charge, he can get he can close the distance on that army really quickly. And actually, it looks like there was some High Templar harassment. Oh, and doing some great damage against the Psystorms. We can see there's 3 on that one High Templar. I'm not sure how many the other High Templars have right now. I'm kind of curious to see once those get dropped off somewhere else, but it looks like he may be trying to continue that harassment here at the expansion, going to possibly be dropping these High Templars off on the high ground here. And we do see, actually, it looks like the Terran army for Cloud is going to be moving out right now, and there are 4 High Templars, it looks like, and a bunch of Zealots and Stalkers out at this base here, or out at the Zelnaga Watchtower rather, and those Zealots getting a very quick surround on that first tank, the second tank going down very quickly as well with that combined High Templar Psystorm and more High Templar Psystorm. Oh my goodness, those just deal so much damage to Marines. One Psystorm can take out an enormous amount of Marines. But it looks like a lot of those Marines have already been softened up, and unfortunately not enough energy right now to cast any more Psystorm, it looks like. So he is going to have to retreat, as these Stalkers are not enough to take on those Marines by himself. Oh, and 2 more High Templars coming out right now, dropping some Psystorm and just causing a ton of damage to this Terran army. And it looks like there are a couple more Zealots here coming into play, going to try to help WhiteRa hold this position, but he is at this point pretty much giving away that he has the base up here at the expansion, because obviously he is warping units up here, and it looks like the Psystorm going down on these tanks, trying to shell this cliff here, and more reinforcements coming in. Once again, Cloud just sticking with tanks and Marines right now, it looks like, and some more Psystorm going down. WhiteRa once again just showing how good he is at controlling Psystorm, just dealing a ton of damage, and really, to be honest, with the small area of effect and the shorter duration that Psystorm has in StarCraft 2, it is a lot more difficult to control correctly. So definitely props to WhiteRa for his good Psystorm control. It looks like he is going to be able to take out the tank that is up on the high ground here, and the last couple remaining tanks forced to retreat, one of them getting taken down by a Psystorm, and there's one last tank retreating from this Protoss base with only 26 HP. Looking at the mini-map, though, here you can see the WhiteRa has once again tried to expand, taking the expansion down at the 6 o'clock position, while Cloud has decided to go a little bit of a different route, going for the expansion at the gold yield, the high yield base down at the, I guess this isn't really a 4 o'clock position since there is a base down here in the corner, but it is kind of in that general area, of course, the high yield base between the 2 natural expansions in the lower right corner. But it looks like there is still a decent amount of tanks here, although not nearly as Marine heavy now. Moving out, going to try to take some position up by the Zelnaga Watchtower and possibly fortify any reinforcements getting up to this expansion at the 12 o'clock position if he is going to try to do some damage. But no, actually it looks like he may be trying to push into the main Oh, and a lot of Zealots coming into play here. A decent amount of them going down, but that charge ability just allows them to get into that Zealot or into that tank range so quickly there, able to take down the rest of these tanks with very, very little effort. So WhiteRa just absolutely steamrolling that Terran army, and it looks like there is more Terran forces moving out right now, but they are going to protect this high yield base that he has just taken, dropping some mules there to immediately take advantage of those resources. But there is a Protoss army here consisting of Zealots and Archons, but that is not going to be nearly enough to take on the kind of tank fire that he has defending that high yield base right now. So WhiteRa is going to retreat, managing to save 5 Zealots and 1 Archon, it looks like. But he has a pretty good lead right now because he does have one more expansion than Cloud does, although he has not fully saturated it. So look at the income tab right now. We can actually see that the Terran player is ahead currently on their income because you can see the amount of mules that he has on this high yield base. But as those mules go down and the expansion at the 6 o'clock position here goes up, WhiteRa is going to slowly take the lead on that income advantage. And you can see he does have elite in the harvester count. So if it were not for those extra mules, oh, and the great Psy Storm there, you can see he's warping in some High Templars up on the cliffs here, doing some damage to the resources. And it looks like he is going to try to take out some more. Actually doing some great Psy Storms on the infantry and tanks that are up here trying to defend this expansion. And he is going to actually warp in some more, actually some Stalkers instead this time it looks like. And you can tell he has a ton of gateways right now because of how many Stalkers he was able to get in there. And taking down that one tank that was defending, looks like he is going to bring down here and try to do some damage to this eco line. Oh, and a great Psy Storm on this infantry. But as you can tell, he does have the shield upgrade, which gives them extra HP, so they are a little more difficult to take out. But wow, what great Psy Storm, taking out so many Marines there, and even softening up those Marauders to a great deal here. And it looks like these remaining 5 Stalkers are going to try to do as much damage as they can. You can see that all the SCVs have cleared out of this expansion. And I'm sorry, I'm going to take a break to get some water because my voice is hurting real bad right now. Oh, and it looks like Cloud has finally found out that there is another expansion at the 6 o'clock position. Oh, and he manages to take it down. WhiteRa manages to take it down by warping in a bunch of speed Zealots at the last second. And that is actually going to force Cloud to GG because he realized he has been so much out-expanded on this map that he just cannot catch up economically, and he was just forced into a corner there. So it looks like game number 2 going to WhiteRa in this matchup between these two guys. And WhiteRa is actually going to be, they are 1-1 now with WhiteRa winning that game. So we're going to move on to game 3. As I mentioned, I believe this is a best of 5 series, so we are at least going to see 2 more games. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll go on to the next game right now. GG.